Great. Okay, so Darren, with this program, we've been as fellow STEs getting to know each other and examining what our role is in supporting Moodle in our skills team. So we acknowledge that there's skills points products coming out, we've got legacy Moodle products, and we've also got requests for brand new development. So through this program, we're allocating sandpits to the STEs and EQSs, and we're replicating an experience that a teacher would go through if they got a brand new course to develop. So it's the thoughts and the feelings around all of that. And also that to reiterate that the educational quality role in the support of the Moodle product is mainly around the educational piece of how to write the instructions, the types of activities that you will use, how to monitor the progress so that we're capturing the structured learning to be compliant in the TAS, and also how to extract that data. So, and then we acknowledge all of the technical issues that your team come up against, and we're all aware of how to create a ticket, but there are ways that we can support your team and align both teams so we can work together, because sometimes there's a few little crossovers, so we can work together to successfully support the skills team. So Darren, I'll allow you to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about yourself and what you do.
Well, I think that was a pretty good introduction. Thanks, Leslie. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I haven't really prepared anything, but so I guess to talk about what my team does, we've been functioning now since May last year. Initially set up to support the business as usual or legacy. Doesn't really have a name, but that's kind of what we call it. Moodle's the way Moodle's been used in the regions. And now with the release of Skills Point Moodle products, particularly, we support the deployment of those. So we're part of the deployment process onto the regional Moodles. So all the requests, so the work that we do are generally is a request through ServiceNow.
How many in your team, Darren?
5.
5.
5 of us, yeah.
And have you allocated your team, do they have dedicated platforms that they look after?
Kind of. We sort of have it set up. We have what we call a matrix, that the ServiceNow teams have vision of, so they can assign particular platforms to particular people as a primary response, and then there's a secondary response. But as a team, we have access to and we provide support to all of them. But yeah, there are within the team particular members of the team will concentrate on 1 or 2 platforms particularly, just so that they have an intimate knowledge of it. I think that's quite helpful.
Okay, so when you receive the Support Now ticket, you triage it to the appropriate person. So the information in that ticket is really important, isn't it?
It is really important, and there's 2 ways that a ticket would come to us. That would either come through as an incident, which is in ServiceNow, that's the something's broken option. Mm-hmm. And then the other one is a form, which is a request item, and that's generally where Moodle requests would come now, through that form. And it's in there that there's a nominated approver for that request. So if a teacher's making a request, they can nominate their head teacher to approve that request. And typically that might be to be assigned an editing role in a course, or to create a new course or clone a course, or those typical sorts of requests we might get. But yeah, we try. There's often a little bit of backwards and forwards until we get all the details we require. So yeah, it is important that for timeliness, to be able to respond quickly to a request, that there is enough information required, and it can be as simple as the Moodle URL is missing. We don't know. Someone says, "Can I have this course cloned into my Moodle?" But they haven't said which Moodle they want where they're working in. So it's things like that. Yeah.
That's funny because I've know that's really common. Like they sort of think that you know which course they're talking about, but they don't realize there's probably 5 versions of that qualification in that platform. So it's like, which one?
That's right.
So the URL is super important, and the people requiring access, so the teaching staff, and sometimes the groups, what groups they need to be attached to, or
yeah. So I think you're kind of veering towards the skills point request. So those Moodle courses, the particular information for those are, yes, we would need the teachers who are teaching from the location. So we need the location, and that informs the groups that we create in these skills point courses, and then assigning those teachers to those groups. So that step is particularly important because the way the skills point courses function now, using groups, is that if a teacher isn't added to the same group as the students, then that teacher won't be able to see the students in the course or any of the relevant information for those students.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in this program, we've sort of left the skills point products till last, just to examine those, but we're just looking at the pure functionality of Moodle. So the sandpit that I've allocated everybody is just a standard template that I've created from a skills point sort of aspect, a learning design. So you've got your tabs across the top, and then your information, your overview tab, and your lessons and so forth, with that compliance acknowledgement built in, so that we can have that experience in that design, just with the standard Moodle theme of that whatever platform that you're in. So for us to support our skills teams with their legacy Moodle products, and assist you guys to effectively assist them more efficiently, we need, what can you see our role would be to help that process?
I think it's very much to coordinate. I mean, it's probably there's a few critical things I would say. It's helping to coordinate requests. So if you're involved with a teaching section, and they are, I think one of the things you suggested earlier was they want to develop up something, then I think coordinating the requests for those shells, let's call them shells, so creating those course and unit shells from templates. And I think the important thing there is that what we are attempting to or continuing to work on is, because we have vision of all the Moodles across the state, we're developing up a management plan, if you like, that to try and make that as consistent as we can. So the difficulties or the challenges we had early on were that in all the regions and all the RTOs, there were very much different approaches to doing things and managing their Moodles, and across the board, from a process of cloning. Higher ed has a very set in place process of cloning their subjects each delivery. In other areas, people were being instructed to reset their courses. So it was quite different. So we're trying to create or continuing to work towards a management plan that's consistent across the state, so that it makes it a lot easier for us as a team to support these things. So in terms of what you guys might be doing is is helping to coordinate the request. So, I mean, we might get a request. I had one yesterday from a teacher who said, it's a new offering, I want to deliver Cert 3 in electrotechnology, or Cert 2, I think it was Cert 2 in electrotechnology. That was the extent of the request. So I went back and said, well, what are the units that go with this qualification unit? We need to know all that as well, because it's not as simple as creating one Moodle course for Cert 2 electrotechnology. There's all the units, and then there's the whole conversation about how to structure that course, which is the best template to use, help meet compliance, all those assignment settings you were showing just as I came into the meeting. All that stuff can be set up in templates ready to go. So it's that kind of coordination of, okay, you've got a new offering that you want to put up. Let's put it into Moodle. Because of all the benefits of using Moodle, meeting compliance, etc., etc. So let's make sure your request is an accurate one and gives enough information. I think it's those types of things that really value add.
So I guess the step before that, when we're having our conversations in the regions with our skills teams, we're sort of identifying where they're at with Moodle, what their skills are, what their previous experience is, and what they want to achieve. So is what they've been doing working, or why and why not, and where do they want to go with it? So I'm finding commonly I'm getting contacted because there's been a Moodle champion as such in the section that has been that staff member that has taken the lead and coordinated the Moodle over a period of time, and then they leave and do something different, and then all of a sudden the teaching section have got this product and they're not sure about all the behind the scenes. So and the other issue would be training package updates. So if they wanted to, so they either enhance what they've got or they just scrap it and start afresh. So I guess in our sandpits, we're sort of going along those lines of that scenario of scrap it and start afresh. So we're actually learning how to build in a sandpit and the issues that you come up against. However, now we know how to turn editing on and what a label looks like and how to use the text editor. We can sort of assist with improving the instructions and adding a forum to bulk up that volume of learning and that interaction between outside of the classroom. So I guess to help assist with the ticket, so once the ticket's created, you then action it, contact the teaching team, and I guess we're sort of relying on that teaching team to contact us to support further. Does anybody else have anything to add to that? Any of your issues that you come up against with your skills teams, just in those legacy courses?
I don't think we've got enough time, Leslie.
Yeah, there are some issues, but it's all a work in progress, and it's moving towards that consistent experience for the student, and to minimise the risk of having a too complex a setup as well. So yeah, I guess it's just about knowing the right channels and the most effective way to service our clients out there. Would you agree, Darren?
I think so. I think I guess what's reasonably obvious to all of us is that the legacy side of Moodle is a little bit messy. It's difficult. Like I said, everyone was doing their own thing for so long, and the support model underneath all of that was quite different from RTO to RTO and region to region. And that the handover of all of that, wasn't particularly clean and easy either. So, we're working through a lot of these challenges. When I say we, it's not, I don't mean just our team, it's you guys and us and everyone else who's having these conversations about what do teachers do now.
Okay.
So I don't think it's clear cut as such, but I also feel like in the education quality teams, you guys, I don't know that you guys need to be Moodle experts.
No.
I think you need to know enough to be able to support your teachers and point them in the right direction for where they can get additional help and support. And I think in your PowerPoint there, you sort of, you made the delineation between the technical support and the sort of pedagogy, the education behind it. And I think that's the differentiation, is that the mechanics and the building and all that stuff, that still would sit with us through ServiceNow and sort of the.
So you are a relatively small team for the state. So if our teaching sections needed training for a legacy, and so am I right to say that the skills points products are taking priority in terms of capability building and deploying and that type of thing? Is there training available for teaching sections if they're new to Moodle and they want to utilise the learner management system? They want to, they can see the future. In a year or two, they're going to have a skills point product. They want to start facilitating in the space. I guess it's okay.
So we're talking about skills point now.
We're talking about legacy or regionals, sections, discipline areas that are wanting to prepare for that time when they do have to use a skills point product.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess there's probably two ways to answer that. There is the existing support material. So each of the, as you know, in ITAFE, in each of the legacy Moodles, there's existing support material for how to do various things that's contextualized to those platforms. So we certainly piggyback off all that pre-existing stuff and direct teachers to those things wherever possible. And then there's the other sort of Linda or LinkedIn Learning, as it's about to become Moodle.org. There's all of that stuff as well that people can go and look at and learn. So that, I guess, that helps to address the legacy stuff. With the skills point, I'm involved in a project at the moment with ODTM to develop a program for as part of the deployment process, so teachers can go look at this course, they can get an idea of what the skills point Moodle will look like, what are the things that teachers need to be able to do in there. There's there'll be some videos and some guides on how to do it, and then as part of that, they'd request access to a sandpit to practice what they learn. So this is all work that's in progress at the moment to help sort of fill that gap, because I think it's pretty obvious there was a bit of a gap in deployment and teacher capability.
Great.
Yeah. So
that to look forward to.
Yeah.
And there's also a sub-group, working group, regional Moodle capability working group, which is just a small group of STEs, so 2 from each region. We meet once a week and we email each other. Like, there was a request put out there, does anybody have a resource for a student that has disabilities? And 2 of us have replied with, yeah, this is what we've got. So it's good that we're sort of getting that sharing of existing resources happening, and we're starting to work towards a consistent capability checklist, so that we can, before we even start, we need to have that understanding of where they're at. So a standard sort of a checklist that we can issue out and then go, okay, right, we need to contact Darren or point them in the right direction of those system supports or lynda.com or so forth. That's sort of just going to help us sort of get an idea on a statewide level.
Mm. Yeah, I agree. I think that the work that you're doing in those communities of practice, for want of a better word, but those support groups, yeah, I think that's great. It can only be a benefit to teachers.
Yep.
So I applaud you for it.
Oh, cool. And so an update on the TAFE Digital Campus. How's that going? So there's a one platform that is coming in the future? So we won't have to sort of work within our regional Moodles, or that is a long, long way off?
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that. I've been there's been a project going on for the last month or so around a consolidation. Well, it's called a consolidation project, but it's just to come up with some options and recommendations for what happens next. The TAFE Digital Campus will be the platform that we all use for these approved products, Skills Point approved products. I don't know what the time frame is though. I think they've only got a few products on TAFE Digital Campus now which are purely online. So there's another body of work going on now to develop up what's required for blended delivery or what we've been used to in the regions. I'm actually, for the next meeting I'm going to, there's a showcase of one of the products they put on there for blended, just to see how that might work.
Oh, great.
Yeah, so there had to be a whole bunch of other user experience considerations for blended that were different to online, even for the teacher experience. So they're sort of working on that. But okay. I'm not aware of a time frame for these things, okay. Leslie.
Yep.
But the other,
how long does it take string?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I if anyone asks me, I say, well, I expect that we'll be using the regional LMSs for
quite some time.
Yeah.
Okay. Last question. If any of the Ed Quality team needs to contact one of your team, is it okay if they email them direct and sort of start up that bit of a working relationship to support a particular section or project in the platform?
Yeah,
I know your team really busy, but I think it's important that if we can sort of establish those connections and relationships.
Yeah, I think the first contact would be with me,
mm-hmm.
and then I can ensure that I allocate it to the right person. Yeah, and then that's fine. I think I agree. I think relationships are really important. So yeah, happy to do that. But yeah, if the first contact can be with me.
Okay, great. Thank you. And thank you for spending some time here. I know you're busy.
No, anytime. Happy to do it. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Good luck in your next meeting. It'd be good to have a little sneak peek myself.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Okay.
Right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Darren.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, everyone. So does anybody have anything extra to add to today's session? Any comments? Now Darren's gone. Oh, that's going to be in the recording. I should stop the recording now.